Hey, man, you've got the Hellion on the Hellion Rocks. Got a special guest in the house today. There's a brand new album out. The group's called Mindcage. The album's called Our Own Devices on Kinematic Music. I'm fortunate to have Jeff, the vocalist, on the line with me today. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man, James. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. I got to say, I was really fortunate. I got a preview copy of the record. I put it on, and it took me to another world, and I know that was the intention of it. And in my opinion, that's the sign of a great CD, of a great production, great songwriting, great music. Tell us about how Mindcage all came about, man.
Well, the guys, Brian Howell, Craig Nuda, and of course Dietrich Hardwick, they've been together off and on for pretty much 30 years. They started here in the Gulf Coast, and they did the band thing back in the day, and they even took off out to the West Coast, out to the Bay Area, and they've literally got years of working together on different things. And as far as I'm concerned, I came into the Dietrich's eye early last year by the social network stuff. We were friends on Facebook, and a friend of ours kept pushing us to get up with each other, and we did that, and we started exchanging clips and little song ideals and stuff with each other, and it just progressed. So it didn't really. We knew there was something there right off the bat, but it didn't really progress, and this is something we have to do until I actually heard his first track from what was going to be this album, Our Own Devices. And, he sends me this track, and I looked it up. It was August 17th of 2012. And he sends it over to me, and he was like, what do you think of this? And right off the bat, things were just popping off in my head. It's like, I'll get back to you. And I immediately put this thing on my recording program, and everything that just came natural, I threw it down. And that's pretty much how almost every song, how I wrote the melodies. What you're hearing, that's just what I heard coming naturally to me, and half of that album was written really quick. So, but I send this back to him, and he's like, Deke's blown away. He's just he's like, and I tackled the song that he thought was going to be the hardest first, and he was, he was so blown away by it, and he was also at the time talking to me about, how his long friendship he had with Michael Wagner, and I was like, Deke, man, why don't you send that to Wagner and see if we're on the right track? He was like, well, he's not much into progressive metal, he's like a straightforward rock guy, I was like, well, just, if you guys are friends, like you said, just send it to him and see if we're on the right track. Maybe he can recommend somebody we need to talk to. And he sends Wagner this track, and it wasn't long after that before Wagner just pretty much said, look, I've cleared the calendar for December. Get your asses up here. So that's pretty much how it started. It was like just that recognition that we had something going on here,
That's way cool. A lot of people don't know. I was really excited when I saw that Wagner was working with you guys on it. Some of the names that he's worked with are Ozzy, Metallica, Motley, Megadeth, stuff like that. That's quite a lineage, and it's cool for me to see that Mindcage is going to be counted amongst that. So that's definitely, I could tell the production quality, everything in that record is spot on. Yeah,
it's a pretty humbling to me in that list, and you home when you walk in the doors of Wire World Studios up in Nashville, his studio. So when you walk in that front room, it's plastered with all the gold and platinum albums on the wall.
Right.
So it's like, you know, you kind of have that, we're not in Kansas anymore feeling here, you know. As soon as you walk in there, you kind of realize this guy, when he's joking about something, you need to shut up and listen, you know.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was pretty exciting, man.
Cool. Well, we're getting into you personally, man. What a voice! I gotta say kudos on that, man. It's powerful and full of passion, man. How did you develop that extraordinary quality?
Well, you know, probably like every other singer out there, you know, I just I just tried to emulate people that I loved, you know, and probably one of the biggest things that got me into it was when I was a teenager, I finally got a car. So I was able to ride around and belt things out to the top of my lungs. I was never the kind of a person at the house that sang in the shower. You know, I tried to keep things cool for my parents. You know, I was more embarrassed to ever sing for anybody at first, you know. But you know, I belt out and, you know, Bruce Dickinson and, you know, singing old metal church and you know, Sabotage and, you know, and I found that I could reach that stuff, you know, I had the ability to do that, but it was never any formal training. It was just that, you know, just emulating my heroes. So it just developed over the years, and then, you know, while other people are out there, you know, running around doing band sets, when I took that hiatus from doing all the band stuff in the days, I really got into home recording. So, you know, and I started honing what I do with that, because I could hear constant feedback, and I could start, you know, experimenting on, you know, EQ settings and the way I wanted to, you know, present my phrasings on certain stuff. So that's pretty much how it came together, man. There's nothing formal about it. It's pretty much, you know, an organic find with myself, you know.
Nice. Well, the passion does show through, you know. That's kind of cool that, you know, you took it up on yourself and developed your craft on your own. That just makes it much more special, personable. That's cool.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. So, you know, the opinion.
Did I lose you?
No, man, we're cool. The imagery of Mindcage is very cool as well. You know, I one of the things about rock music and going to a show is the fact that, you know, you're transported away. You can forget all your daily cares and go to a fantastic show. And that's very cool that you guys are working on that as well, instead of just, you know, dirty t-shirts and jeans, which works in some occasions. But for Mindcage itself, I think that the imagery you guys have put together is very, very appropriate.
Good deal. Dietrich, he, you know, right off the bat from the beginning, he was, you know, what do you think about the whole steampunk ideal? And, you know, and, and, you know, it was, you know, I've always liked the whole ideal of it. You know, I especially love it in TV and in reading books and all the stuff that, you know, comes about with it. But, you know, the whole ideal and the thought of it being, you know, with a metal album and stuff, you know, that's like, well, yeah, that's cool, is, you know, because there's some sides of steampunk that's really hokey to me, and you know, especially the guys that are really, you know, the purist with it. But, you know, the more darker side of the, you know, imagery, I really like. And, you know, it's, in, you know, and the way it's come out, you know, some of it was kind of unexpected the way it hit, and the way it's come out is pretty neat, man. I'm kind of enjoying it myself. You know, it was one of those things that it was kind of surprising as it developed. You know.
Very cool. The whole idea, you know, of the imagery thing, you know, goes back to the days of, you know, Kiss and Cooper and stuff like that. And I think we lost the spectacle of a show, you know, and we lost the fact that, you know, with today, you know, it's kind of cool. We've got all the social media. We can stay in touch with what bands are doing. But back in the day, there was always a mystery, and we always held rock stars and, you know, these band members in like a higher regard. You know, hey, check it out. There they are right there. It was kind of a cool thing for you to escape to. And I like to see that some of the bands are going back to that.
Right, and it's kind of funny you mentioned the whole Kiss thing. A couple of guys in the band, me included, are huge Kiss fans, and you know, Craig Nudo, the drummer. Now he makes me look like I'm a novice at the whole situation. He's got a huge Kiss collection, but he and I could probably wear a different Kiss shirt, you know, every day for a month at least. So it's like, so that's, you know, as far as younger influences, me, it was Ace Frehley. You know, he's the one that made me wanted to be a rock star, you know. So it's like that whole, you're right, the whole spectacle of the show. And they're probably the top example of making the most out of your show, you know, with what you have. And with this, like you're saying with Mindcage, the whole presentation of it, it's of course it was surprising to me how some of it turned out, but yeah, that's you know, if you know, I'm just so tired of bands that, you know, even the ones that I really respect and love, really not being interesting to watch. And it's like, and that's something that we mentally made a decision that we wanted to do to you know, when you come see us live, you know, you'll see what I'm talking about. We're, you know, it's not only it's gonna assault your senses on different levels, just not a couple.
Nice. Well, speaking of seeing you guys live, you guys gonna be hitting the road, taking it on the road somewhere?
Yeah, we got some dates we have in the works right now. We're not absolutely confirmed on them, but keep your eye on the website. You know, the mindcagemusic.com and also Mindcage Band at the Facebook site. And when we get those confirmed, we'll be popping them up there. And we got a killer show that's worked up that we're dying to get out there. So we're hoping to be up and running before the end of the year on actual tour.
Nice. I gotta give a shout out to Kinematic Music. You know, those guys doing a good job of promoting and getting you out there. You know, that's kind of how you guys fell into my lap, and I'm really glad that it did.
It's we are very thankful for these guys. They kicked in really early on, you know, with the music. We when we first started going to do this, we started a Kickstarter campaign and started getting some people in on it. And the guy that is Kinematic Music was Ben Galecki. He heard the music, you know, he saw the Kickstarter campaign, and you know, I've known him, you know, just from, you know, friends and going out and you know, and he saw and listened to some of the samples of what we're trying to do, and it blew him away. And he was like, you know, let's just let this Kickstarter thing run through. Don't push it anymore. You know, we're going to take care of this how we take care of it. And he kicked in, and right off the bat, he was a true believer and a fan. You know, so that's how, you know, Kinematic started kicking in was then all of a sudden it was just like, look, just worry about the music, we'll take care of this. So it's like, as far as me and Dietrich, we feel really blessed is the right word that these guys came along when they did. It's so much falls in with that same pattern, this album. It just happened so quick that everything at the time just seemed to fall in place, and Kinematic was a huge part of that thing that just fell together. It just came together all at once in this and orchestrated out, and everything happened that was supposed to happen to get this album done. And hats off to those guys from me too.
Cool. And Spinner PR, Deborah Brousseau, doing a good job of getting it out there too. One of the things that impressed me about not only the music and the CD was the fact that I got a press release, a hard copy press release into the package when I got the CD, which is, a lot of bands don't do. I get a lot of CDs in the mail, and, you got to do a little research on it on your own. But these guys gave everything in the package, says, check this out, it's a great band, you'll like the record. And I did. And it's a great, slick job.
Right, we're really thankful for Deborah and what she does, and also on the radio side, Muncie Ricci. We're really we're thankful to have those guys on our team, and Deborah, she's the one that knows how to get that music in the right places for the right people. So this whole thing, for me, not being, an industry veteran, I'm no novice to music, but, as far as the whole, marketing thing, that's not really anything that I understand myself. I'm learning as I go now, and it's been a kind of a neat process watching how things work. And, yes, Deborah's been a huge part.
It's very cool. It's actually, the music community itself is pretty small for, in reality. I keep running into a lot of the same people. We check this out. And it's a lot of word of mouth. And it truly is, the PR people doing their jobs that get you out there.
Right. That's right.
So, Mindcage, future. You guys already looking for new music? You guys going to write? You going to do a follow-up album? I know it's early on right now, but catching the momentum of things. What's the future look like?
Well, if you get Dietrich and me in a room together, and we don't have any solid task at the moment. Like we're work on this. We're working on this because it's been a busy time here lately. But if we ever have time to sit down and take a breath, me and Dietrich are always creating together. Okay, so it's like we have ideas for other stuff, that we've been raising in the air, and Dietrich has this huge back catalog of music he's written that and right off the bat, even with the other stuff that we've worked with before, me and Dietrich just click. His insanity just pretty much speaks to mine. So, there'll definitely be something coming along these lines, and really, according to this concept, this really is supposed to be a trilogy type concept. So it's very possible that, an extension of the story will come along, or we might do something different and then release that later, But yes, there's definitely creativity afoot.
Cool. I like the fact that you guys made a concept record. There was, some of the greatest ones in the past, Rush 2112 obviously jumps out right at you. Concept records are really cool to get, and it's really cool to take it as a whole package, which is, one of the things I enjoy. I like to put a CD on it, let it run right through, and that's what's cool about, the new Mindcage record. Kudos to you guys for making that as well.
Right. It's kind of, I don't know if I've ever explained this before. This will probably be the first time. With me and writing, and especially if music, if you feel a certain thing in a tune that you're working on, and if the theme of the whole thing fits, it's one thing if you have this ideal or this lyric line or something and you're going to write music to, that comes together and it seems to create itself together. But in these cases, Dietrich had already recorded these tracks, the basic tracks for this. He had already, had worked these up, and the concept just made sense for what I was hearing. And I'm one of those people that if we have that mix there, if you hear what the concept is in the music, it just comes out. Give me a theme and I'll run with it. And that's kind of how everything made sense, to me. Every flow, everything that came out lyric wise and melody wise, it just lent to that theme. So, the concept ideal was, when you're trying to find a piece or, a little section in the song, that you're working on, you might find yourself separated and then try to shoehorn in the ideal of the concept. That was never absent through this whole album. The concept was there the whole time, that it was being written, at least in my head. So, I work better with concept ideals because, it just, that's how music comes quicker for me if I already know where I'm coming from,
Yep. Very cool. Let's, I know we're talking about all this, and you guys do have a very cool video out for the human race. What was it like making that video?
It was fun. The different locations that we went to. They have this little theater here in town, Pensacola Little Theater. It's older type theater, really intimate setting, and they set it up there at that place. And we also went to the old Sacred Heart Hospital, which is this old hospital which everybody believes it's haunted. We got up there in the top floors and everything, and it was like, the place is run down, and it was like 90 degrees that night, so it was like if, you found yourself at points, especially when you're wearing that crazy outfits we were wearing, it was, some points of it was kind of a little bit miserable. Found myself screaming, if this place is haunted, I need a ghost to come get me a cold spot right here, because it was, it had its moments, but it was really fun with everybody that was working on it, especially the Airship Isabella people that came in. They were the people that came up with our costume ideas and some of the imagery in there. And the whole team really put that together. The kinematic people, and also our manager Rebecca Furstenfeld. They really came through on it, and it was a fun couple of days of shooting.
They did it's a good job. It truly does work with your, trying to take you away to a different world. It actually does the video imagery transcribe that very well.
Right. It's I like how it's also kind of the old school metal delivery type video. It's
right.
It's not this new, here, let's assault you with graphics and all this other stuff, which is cool when you're looking at something put together like that, But if I had to get one word to describe everything that has to do with this album, and the word is organic. It's just, that's, back to basics. And, the whole less is more thing, and that's how we feel about this is, if you, and that's been my, I have this, Star Trek reference that I always use all the time, which is stone knives and bear skins, and that's pretty much my ideal. If it's not right and it's not entertaining and it's not great in its basic form, it's not going to be entertaining with all the buttons and whistles on it. So it's just, I like that we approach this from really the easier level, because to me it screams of old school metal to me, and that's why I guess I'm a fan of our music right now.
That's cool that you said that. That you're a fan of your music. That's cool that that just shows me that you've done what you've accomplished, and you're enjoying what you want to do, and that right there is the heart of it. You're making it for the enjoyment. That is very cool.
It is. It really is, and it really was intended to be like that. Because especially when I'm starting to read some of these reviews, and I was like, oh man, they're getting it. They're seeing what we tried to do, and it really is. It was like I can't remember what guy was reviewing was saying that Mindcage has refused to chafe their lips on the shaft of prog metal, meaning to me is like that's been Deaconized pretty much mantra is no prog for prog's sake. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm so tired of hearing people trying to work out math problems on their instrument. It sounds cool and everything. You're like, oh, how many times can I say, well, I can't do that, before you get to an end of a song. But at a point, it starts losing the listener. I mean, there's some really amazing progressive metal albums out there that just lose you about 3 or 4 songs into the daggum thing. And it's like, so no prog for prog's sake. It's either belongs in the song or it doesn't. So, and that's what we set out to do is like, whatever we're going to do here, let's make sure it's supposed to be in the song, and make sure the song is, it's the song comes first. The whole ideal of technicality comes later. So, and that's what we try to do. And it seems to be that that's the way it's translating. And I'm very happy about that.
And it works. I recently was having a discussion with someone on the fact that, we have, being as old as I am and growing up, and there's a lot of iconic songs that have reached iconic status, bands that have reached iconic status, and there's a lot of good bands now that are going to be gone. And if you look back, those iconic songs were made for the love of music. The people that were making them they were creating art. They weren't doing it for the sake of being a rock star or making money and blah, 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 blah. They were making art. They were making what their passions drove them to make. And I get that from you guys.
Awesome. Yes, that's pretty much how I see it too. It's as much as I am a fan of all the people that do these things that I'm saying we're trying not to do, I've learned a world of things from those people, but I'm really myself a personal turnoff to me as a writer and in myself as I try my best never to shoehorn something into place. If it doesn't come naturally and it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't flow right, if I have to force it into place, then it wasn't meant to be.
There's that organic thing again.
That's it, man. It's if it doesn't feel right, man, don't try to force it. It's got to feel right.
Cool, man. Well, I've got. I think Dietrich's going to be calling me here soon too, so I'm going to have back-to-back interviews with you guys. So
right. That's as soon as we get done, I'm going to text him, and he's going to be on the line with you.
Okay, cool, man. So that works out. So it's going to be cool. I'm going to do a back-to-back interviews and, keep promoting the band. again, I got to thank you so much for making this record. It's given me a lot of hope, for prog metal. And, the world is yours right now. Tell your fans what you want to tell them.
Man, I just thank you for giving us a chance and listening to what we have to offer. I mean, the messages and the input that I'm getting from everybody so far, I can't thank you guys enough for the interest that you've shown in us. So every day it's something new that humbles me and puts me in a great place. So thank you. That's the biggest thing I can say is thank you for listening.
No,
and James, I want to thank you, man, because I can hear the excitement whenever in your words when I read them, and I can hear it in your voice too. And I can't tell you what it means, man. I really appreciate it.
Cool. So Mindcage, Facebook.com, Mindcage Band. Give them a like, man. Let's get their numbers up so they can keep making great music for us. Their website, mindcagemusic.com, /band. Check those guys out. You will not be disappointed. Great packaging, great record, everything all around it. Great people to talk to, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling.
Thanks, bud.
All right, we'll talk soon. We'll look for you on the road. Hopefully we can catch a show, do some photos, and keep this ball rolling.
Without a doubt, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care, bud.
Bye-bye.
All right, man. All right.